Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Welcome to the September 17th, 2015 meeting of the Anderson Township Board of Trustees. If you join us now, the most important thing we're going to do tonight, that's a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move to adopt the agenda with modifications.
Second. Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Of course, the agenda also said we had something ahead of that, but hey, what difference?
Whoever reads it. Oh, yes, we do.
Thank you. Hey, who's in charge here?
Switch it. Modified.
Back on July 13th, a good friend of ours, just a absolutely fine gentleman, Mr. Paul Shook, passed away. Paul, if you didn't know him, and you should have known him, Paul was officially appointed legal advisor, that was the term at that time, for Anderson Township by the Board of Trustees on March 11, 1969. Subsequently served as township attorney through December 31st, 1996, and then as special counsel focusing on zoning matters until his retirement on December 31st, 2009. A public celebration of life for Paul has been scheduled and has been scheduled for some time at the Mount Moriah Methodist Church 2 weeks from Saturday, I guess. Is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks from Saturday, October 3rd at 1 p.m. We would appreciate anybody has any interest in joining us. It really is a celebration of a great guy. We're saddened with his passing. With that, I would ask that we all stand and have a moment of silence in Paul's memory. Thank you. Okay. So we skipped right over to motion to adopt the agenda.
Can we do it again?
You want to do it again?
We do have some presentations. Chief?
Let's do it again.
Thank you. Steve, if you could come on up, please. We've had 2 retirements. They're actually from the individuals were from the same recruit class, actually started together as volunteers, and I'll talk about Steve first. He joined us in 1987 as a volunteer, later became a fire inspector, and joined the full-time ranks in 1990. He obtained his firefighter paramedic, and in 1997 he became a lieutenant. During his tenure as lieutenant, Steve took care of a lot of our apparatus, equipment testing, our small engines, kind of kept the small things going for us. Regionally, he had been a member of the Hamilton County and the Federal USAR team, and he's one of our 2 employees who assisted right after 9/11 up in New York, Ground Zero, with the recovery activities. He is married and has 3 grown children, and we wish him the best in his retirement. He'll be missed. We're trying to replace him with everything he did, and I think we have 3 people now trying to do all that. So we wish him the best in his endeavors.
Great.
Thanks, Chief. I just want to thank the Township Trustees, the administration, for giving me the opportunity, and especially my family, the support system that you need to survive a fire paramedic career. It starts at home, so that's been a big thing. And Chief Ober, kind of a neat statistic I was thinking about when I started here. I've worked with 5 fire chiefs. There's been 5 through my tenure here, Chief Ober being the longest. So it's been a very rewarding career, and I just want to say thank you and appreciate everything you have done. Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Steve.
your service.
And if I could, touch base on Dave Kennedy, who couldn't be here tonight. Dave is retiring. Same accolades, came on in 1987, became a fire inspector, firefighter, paramedic, made it up to the rank of firefighter, paramedic 6, who was also a driver. During his tenure, he was an advisor with the Explorer post we had at the time. Dave, in 1992, shortly after Hurricane Andrew struck, he got everybody together and organized food relief. Got a tractor trailer from a local business, got the community involved way back when, loaded it up and assisted with getting it down there. He's married and has 3 children, and we wish him the best as well, and I'll pass any information on you'd like to for Dave. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. At every meeting, we set aside time for any citizens who wish to address the board. We're now going to open the public forum. If anyone would like to address the board, please come forward. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. Please give us your name and address, and if you're ready, the line form's right here, or here.
Hi, I'm Joyce Gunling, 2070 Anderson Cove Lane. Anderson Township Trustees. The Park Board announced on September 15th that our voices have been heard. The Anderson 2020 plan is back on the vetting block. If the Anderson 2020 plan proves to be the real deal, number 1, the Park District wins with a renovated recplex that provides additional indoor recreational space to meet our needs. The survey results clearly indicated the residents demand more indoor recreational space for their children. Number 2, the school district wins with a new high school to replace the old high school at no additional cost to taxpayers. This will help to keep Forest Hill School District in line for top school status, which brings residents into the township in the first place. Number 3, the township wins by freeing up the old Anderson High School site for development of high-end real estate, which in part will most likely consist of the type of housing to fill the void for our empty nesters and our seniors. All of the above wins are imperative for the security of our property values now and into the future. What more can you do to help the process? As our leaders, please take the necessary steps in the most expedited way to complete your share of the due diligence with your respective legal counsel. Time is of the essence, and not enough time should no longer be a legitimate reason this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity passes us by. We ask you, our distinguished trustees, to provide all the support Vicki Earhart needs to make sure Margaret is provided with all the pertinent information right away that Margaret needs for her and her firm to get our answer as to whether the Anderson 2020 plan is in fact doable. As both Russ Jackson and Josh Girth indicated in the article published today, open public sessions with all boards on this issue moving forward is a wise decision. The very first phone conversation Vicki Earhart and I had regarding the education of TIF funding, she brought up the value in public sessions on issues like this. As always, thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joyce.
Anyone else? Don't be bashful. 2 would be a better number than 1. If not, why, we'll close the public hearing portion of this meeting and move on to trustees' comments. I would like to start back on August 25th. The 3 boards issued a press release that stated essentially that they were going to terminate discussions with the developer, but all are open to further discussions should an opportunity present itself. As we all saw, the Park District has apparently modified their position somewhat as of this past week. And with that, as in my capacity as president of the board and with the concurrence of my partners here, I asked Mrs. Rice, I thought that today. I would say Mrs. Rice, and it was there. Mrs. Earhart would convene or invite the other two boards to join us at our interim meeting on Thursday, October 1st. Subsequently, they have confirmed that most, if not all of them, will be at that meeting. We have an interim meeting scheduled for 2 p.m., and they're going to meet with us at 3 p.m. The rules of our interim meeting will apply. What that means is a public meeting, no executive session in this case, and there will be no public input. Purpose of this meeting is for the three bodies to publicly discuss the options that are available. If anyone wishes to address us later, we have a regularly scheduled meeting on October 15th at 6 p.m., and the other boards have their regularly scheduled meetings. I don't know those dates. So that is where we are on this. I would just say one of the things that we will be discussing in detail is the total misunderstanding regarding this demand for a legal opinion. I'm sorry, but that's just not fact. Legal opinion is not the answer to this question. We aren't even close to it. And I will say this will come up at the meeting, but I'm going to tell you real quick. The law is very clear that we cannot directly do what is being asked. But there is a possibility that through a third-party source, we could perhaps, if the numbers came together, we could perhaps do it. That is the element that Margaret would be involved in. So when you keep talking about Vicki doing something and getting off dead center, I'm sorry, she's following what this board has told her, and our position is as soon as we have something we could deal with, we'll be happy to go forward and do it. So please come to the meeting. Again, won't be any input, but hopefully you'll hear all of the gory details, and if it can come together, great. If it can't come together, or if the parties agree that they are not going to go forward, at least we'll clear the air on the various issues. So that is where we are. In that same regard, if you don't mind, gentlemen, I want to bring up a second issue. Good Lord, how long has it been? 8 months, 9 months ago, a long time ago. The Park District Board came to our board and requested that we put up the funds out of our TIF balances to purchase Beach Acres Park. The board was not too excited about that proposition, and we declined to do so because we didn't feel it was in our best interest, number one, and number two is because we don't have that kind of money sitting around in a cookie jar. We spend so much time planning. Our plans go out to the end of the TIF term. We have it planned. Now we modify those plans as we go along. Anyway, they came to us, and we, I think, courteously declined to do that. Because of all that's happened, I would ask that this board at least go back on the issue as to whether or not this board could possibly be a placeholder for both the school district and the park district on the basis of being able to purchase that property, not with cash because we don't have the cash, but perhaps purchasing through bonds. We have this incredible credit rating we've never used. Well, we did on that refinance. It's the first time we've ever actually used it. So that the cost to carry this thing for a year or so would be really minuscule going by on the basis of current interest rates. Whether or not it would work, I have no idea, but I'm going to propose to the board that we give it consideration. Now, what does it mean? It means, in the first place, the Park District would have to enter into an agreement to relinquish their purchase agreement or assign their purchase agreement to us. Beach Acres would have to agree to allow them to do that. The Park District probably would require that certain conditions be built in as part of that agreement, and then the school district would have to be involved on the basis that if they could make it work, that they would purchase work out a way to purchase it back from us, or the Park District would purchase it back from us. There's only one complication to this whole darn thing. Well, one other complication. There are lots of complications. One other one. A portion of that property is in the city of Cincinnati. Anderson Township cannot, by law, own property outside Anderson Township. Therefore, that portion of the property, which is the property over to the rear of the homes on the east side of Bernie Lane, would have to be purchased by some other entity, whether it's the foundation, or the Park Foundation, or some other school foundation, or some other, because we could not overcome that hurdle. Anyway, for whatever it's worth, I'm going to propose to this board that we at least consider looking at it. Whether it'll work or not, I don't have the foggiest idea, but at least it's, if we could be a placeholder to buy the time that would be necessary to make the thing work, great. Whether it'll work or not, who the heck knows? So, with that,
Did you get all that, Sheila?
I heard clicking.
I'm sorry.
I have nothing.
I
further.
didn't talk fast, did I? Mr.
I
Garrett.
have nothing further.
No, I'll just comment that that is a interesting proposal, and I think we need to give it some serious thought, because it's something that we haven't thought about before, and I think it's definitely could buy us even more time. And to your comments, that the time not be used, we don't have time to discuss this. I think with the Parks Board action, we have bought ourselves the time, but I will say this, it is really right now too early to be releasing our legal counsel to be looking at something that may not ever even be possible. However, I will say that we will not, my preference is this board not be seeing it as an obstacle to this plan. So we will move with great haste when it is time for us to move with great haste.
That it?
Agreed.
Thank you, gentlemen. With that, we'll move on to our crack fiscal officer, Mr. Ken Dietz.
Thank you. As I say, almost every month, we have our financial reports. The revenues are coming in a little bit better than anticipated. The expenditures we're holding, we always say that we will probably come in anywhere from 3 to 5% under budget, and that's what it's looking like now. But having said that, it seems like every year at this point in time, when we need to make a payment to the school district, I have to come to the board and ask for a appropriation increase, which means that's good news, because that means we got more money in from the TIF funds that need to be dispersed to the school district. And one of the reasons why I underestimate those revenues is because the report that I have at the end of the year is not reflective of some of the new properties that have come online that are TIF properties. So, and it also affects the budget. We don't want to inflate the budget by $500,000 if we don't have to, because it is part of it, even though it's pass-through money. So with that having been said, this year the funds came in not only for the school district, but for the township, way above what we had projected back last year when we put the budget together. And when we make our payment to the school district in a couple weeks, we will need to increase the appropriation by $480,000. And I would need your approval to make it an increase. That will go to the county auditor's office, and we will get a new certificate from them, which we only rarely do, and it's always because of the TIF funds. So,
Do we have a motion? I will make a motion to change the appropriation to increase the TIF fund in the amount of $480,000 due to the payment to the Forest Hill School District.
Second.
By way of discussion, Ken, you might point out that by increasing this, when you see our budget, you're going to see that we spent $480,000 more. It's a good thing, not a bad thing, so. because it does show by our accounting system, which is required by the state of Ohio, that it is treated as an expense. So, okay,
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Law Director, Margaret Comey.
Good evening. In your packets, you'll see a resolution. I believe it's marked revised. And it's a resolution whereby you would accept an annual information statement to be filed with the MSRB and authorize Vicki and I to finalize it and get it filed in a timely manner. This is required because there are 2 maturities still outstanding on your Series 2007 bonds, and then there are 5 maturities out on your Series 2014 bonds. Recall that in 2014, in December, you refunded the long maturities on the bonds that were out, which was previously the only issue you had out. When a municipal issuer goes into the public markets now, the FCC, through the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board, requires that annual filings of operating data be made available to the investment community by making this filing on the electronic system. So you've done this for several years. We'll still have that obligation for 2 years on the 07s, and then we will shift over totally to the continuing disclosure agreement on the 2014 bonds. So the resolution lays all of that out, and I would ask your consideration.
You want to take it?
Oh, sure.
Go ahead.
No, you do it.
No, you do.
Oh, come on.
So,
I'll do it.
no, it's all right.
I'd move to adopt a resolution accepting and approving the annual information filing of the township and directing its filing with the MSRB for continuing disclosure purposes.
You can second it.
Second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Garth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank
I've
you.
lost control, Margaret.
That's
It's
not
it.
true.
Not that I
Thank you. I
had
have
it.
nothing further.
That's not true.
Thank you, Margaret. A lot of time that goes into that, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you for your effort. Planning and zoning, Mr. Paul Drury.
Hi, good evening. We wanted to give an update on our comprehensive plan tonight. The township is getting ready to update the plan. It's a 20-year plan with a 20-year horizon. The original plan was adopted in 2005, and it was updated in 2011. The township looks at the plan every 5 years to bring it up to speed. Where we are in the process, we do hire a consultant, and we've recently conducted consultant interviews, and we'll have a recommendation to you hopefully in October to hire a consultant to get the process started. In the past, we've had a steering team. We've also had different opportunities for public engagement. We're pretty excited with this round. We're going to focus heavy on public engagement because there are new opportunities that didn't exist in 2011, including social media and our website, and just different ideas that have come about since 2011. So the comprehensive plan, for those of you who don't know, is on our website, and this is a hard copy, but it covers all aspects of the township, such as transportation, economic development, housing, quality of life, land use, township services, infrastructure, etc. So just wanted to bring that to your attention, and that to look forward in October for a consultant recommendation and the process hopefully getting started. Late fall, most of the public engagement will most likely take place January, February of next year. So, do you have any questions?
I just, if I may add, I've been involved with the consultant reviews, and one of the things that, I learned with the last comprehensive plan, it's not just public involvement as far as our citizens, it's the businesses, it's the other public entities, it's the chamber, the park district, the school district, and, we're trying to make them even a bigger part of that this year. They've always participated, but our goal this year is for the whole community to realize this is their plan. It's not the government's plan, it's the plan for the whole township. And just get as much public input as we can, as Mr. Drury mentioned.
I'd just like to comment how important people realize this is. I mean, this is the way for our citizens to, and businesses to have direct feedback into the direction of Anderson Township. And I've read actually some comments that someone made that we don't have a comprehensive plan. Well, there it is. I mean, it's online. So if anyone wants to take the issue on television, if you have a slow night, go online and see that a lot of effort goes into this, and it's not anything to be discounted. I mean, if you had to guess, Paul, I mean, hours and hours. I mean,
It's a 6-month process to go through the adoption process. Well, to not go through the adoption process, just to go through getting public comment, engage, feedback, just reviewing the sections. That's why we're actually starting now. It seems like we're starting early for 2016 update, but consultant selection and then doing an audit of the existing plan, see what really needs to be changed, what hasn't changed. And with this, it is an update, so we don't anticipate huge changes to the plan, but it's amazing what can happen in 5 years, and, you know, what priorities are now out there, what fiscal changes have you know, the township's been impacted since 2011, so.
no, for that, and in that, I'd like to encourage any residents that want to be involved to contact us and let us know your suggestions, because, I mean, this is our roadmap. This tells us kind of where you want to go. And thank you, Paul, for all the work you do on that. It's a big project. 6 months is a long time.
And if I may add one more thing, just along those lines, as the board is aware, there's an implementation section of this plan. It is not a plan that sits on the shelf. It is something that staff, in fact, when we were, I'll tell my story here, when we were getting ready to meet with the consultants for this go-around, I couldn't find my plan because it wasn't on the shelf, because I had used it and it was stuck in another document. We use it frequently. We provide implementation updates to the Board of Trustees annually, if not more often. We also provide that information to the Economic Development Committee. So it is a part of our everyday life here at the township. It is not something that we do once every 5 years and have it sit around. So it's very important to our operation. The board frequently adopts its priorities, and those priorities often mirror what is outlined in the comprehensive plan. So that's why it's important to have that public input.
Thank you.
I mean, I would just add that there's been a lot of talk about collaboration in the news, and we talk about collaboration a lot. This is the perfect definition of what that is. I mean, this is great. This is one of the biggest things, or I guess the most pleasant surprise that I've seen since being on this board, is the proactive nature that Vicki and Steve and Richard and the chief and everybody take in their departments to be proactive and forward-thinking about what's going to happen in a couple of years. And this plan is the Bible, if you will, of all of those things coming together. And I think you mentioned it earlier, but we do include the Park District. We do include the school district. And, of course, we include the public. And so this is a very important thing that you're getting ready to undertake, and good luck with it.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll hear more about it. Sheriff's Department, I guess Matt Guy had a family emergency.
Brian Sovereign standing in for Matt Guy. The Sheriff's Office has nothing for the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Public Works Department, Richard Shelley.
Good evening. I have several items before the board tonight. Of course, the biggest being the renewal of the lighting districts. As a reminder to the board, we have better than 35 lighting districts throughout the township, and there's some to renew just about every year. All of these are renewal in format, so this is their second or third generation, and all of these pricing held the same. But with that, You have before you the Ashton Grove Lighting District, Fox Trail, landings of Anderson, McIntosh, Woods of Coldstream, and Winds of Anderson Phase 2.
Legal counsel requires us to individually pass these things, so we're going to go through it. I'll start. I'd move that we award contract and confirm assessment for Ashton Grove Lighting District pursuant to revised code section 9.3, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. I would move that we award contract and confirm assessment for Fox Trail Farm Lighting District pursuant to revised code section 9.3, 0515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. I would move that we award contract and confirm assessment for landings of Anderson Phase 1 Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
That's my neighborhood. Am I allowed to
You
vote
can
on
take
that?
that one. You can second it.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yeah.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Sure. That's fine with me. I would move that we award contract and confirm assessments for McIntosh Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. I would move that we award contract and confirm assessments for Woods at Coldstream Park Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. I would move that we award contract and confirm assessments for Winds of Anderson Phase 2 Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Good job, Russ.
Thank you. That was a great
It was really good. He was on a
recap
roll
there.
wasn't he?
Appreciate that.
Good. That's painful.
Man, it's-
Yeah, and I would remind everyone that this initiative is totally a public initiative. It's done through the petition process. Very briefly, it's a resident's request. There's a petition that's passed around. We get pricing from Duke Energy to install the lights and pay for the lighting. And that cost is divided evenly amongst the parcel owners that are identified as being within that district. I think the misconception I run into a lot of times is that the township pays for the lighting, and that's not the case. The lighting, the hardware, software, and related operating costs are all paid for by the citizens and divided evenly through the price of the lot. It's assessed to the taxes. The township pays the cost up front to do the construction, and then we assess back to the taxes on a biannual basis and recover that money. So just a quick overcap of what that is in case there's
And we have a
confusion.
process by which anyone who wishes to add lights to their neighborhood can petition.
Like with most things, yes, there is a process, and the Ohio Revised Code is very specific. It is a very intense legal process, but it's not one we're not familiar with. We are very familiar with it, and we'd be happy to walk you through it if you're interested in doing that with your neighbors in your neighborhood. Is certainly something that we would help you accommodate. The next item I have before the board is the Robin Way culvert repair. As the board is aware, back in 2013, the Hamilton County Stormwater District awarded the township a $85,000 plus or minus grant to put toward the repair on this culvert that runs under Robin Way. Part of the necessity for this, it's not in bad shape and it's not in a condition where it must immediately be replaced, but the necessity for this particular subdivision is the lack of egress and access to the subdivision is limited. So we need to make sure that that culvert stays in good shape. We were awarded that grant. We went through the process of exploring, could we do it without going through the design process? Could we do it under an emergency basis? After much legal wrangling and some concerns over how it was divided up, we decided just to go ahead and keep it 100% clean and go out for the design. What you have before you is the opportunity for Mr. Roberts to design the project for us and then for us to use the system.
Do we have a motion?
I move to authorize the Township Administrator to utilize the professional engineering services of Roberts Engineering for the Robin Way Drive Culvert Repair Project in the amount of $5,200 with a contingency of $520.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
The last item I have before the board is the Anderson Lake mitigation. This is something that we've been working on for years, so to speak, and as the board is aware, as a part of this building here, these lakes are very, very, how should I say?
Wet?
Well, they're designed to meet a certain criteria. Obviously, we have stormwater retention, and that's their purpose, but the uppermost lake is actually part of a wetland. And as a part of that wetland, we must follow the rules and regulations set forth by the Ohio DNR and the EPA regarding wetland. And part of that is that you file this mitigation report indicating the size, shape, location, and that you treat it a certain way. Over the last couple years, we've been changing plantings and doing the things that's required to keep us in compliance with that lake operation, and we want to continue to jump through those hoops, so to speak. So what you have before you is authorization for me to continue to actually file the report and be done. We've achieved the surveying and done all the other things at this time.
I would move to adopt a resolution approving an environmental covenant agreement with OEPA and the purchase of wetlands mitigation credit, both relating to Anderson Lake and authorizing the Township Administrator to execute agreements in connection therewith.
Second.
Any discussion? Kenny?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Bureaucratic nightmare.
I was going to say something, but I chose.
Nah, it's not even worth.
No, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Want to say it off the record?
Nope, keep it to myself. I mean, no.
Never. Fire and Rescue Department, once again, Chief Mark Ober.
Thank you. On the agenda tonight, we have two items, and I'm actually going to speak about both of them, roll them into one another. The first one is, we just want to announce, as we do every year, Fire Prevention Week. Starts on October 3rd and ends on October 10th. Every year, the fire service in the United States uses this time to educate even more about fire safety. And this year, we're going to talk about Beep Where You Sleep, which we're going back to a slogan that the National Fire Protection Association has is put together for us to use about checking your detectors in your house to make sure that they're working properly. And in conjunction with that, you may have seen or heard out in the gallery that Anderson Township will be celebrating its 75th anniversary for the Fire and Rescue Department. And along with that, on October 3rd, when we start Fire Prevention Week, we're going to have an open house at our fire station on Beachmont Avenue. Just at the station, and behind it, we're going to have some displays and some demonstrations, and that's going to run between 12 and 5. And you'll see and hear more about that, and we encourage everybody to stop by. We'll have some demonstrations of some things we do, and also have some things for the young people, some safety-related issues that we can talk about. And we're actually going to borrow some equipment from other departments, a little smoke safety trailer and things of the sort, so we can get the message out and help with the celebration. That's all I have.
Good. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Township Administrator Vicki Rice.
He is on a roll.
We must be on the same wavelength, because I mentioned to Ms. Moorfield earlier today, Mr. Dees wasn't in his office, and I said, oh, he must be picking up Peggy. And it just is so, same wavelength. Mr. Severs has a few items for the board's consideration this evening.
I do have a few items. Thank you, Ms. Earhart. First of these is we have two grant applications for the Ohio Public Works Commission. One is actually comprises of 4 applications for 8 Mile Road, State Road, Kellogg Road, and 5 Mile Road. These are projects which our office, the township, and our departments have been working closely to prepare letters of support. The township would be the applicant for these projects, but the local share would be paid for by the Hamilton County Engineers Office. Again, for 8 Mile Road, this would be the section approximately 150 feet north of Beechmont, south to Woodruff. For State Road, this would be the entire length of State Road from Clough Pike to Nagel Road. For Kellogg Road, this would be from Sutton to the old Kellogg US 52 ramp system, and then for 5 Mile Road would be for the I-275 exit ramps south to Kellogg Road. So again, we feel strongly these would be good applications. This is for the OPWC SCIP program, SCIP, and there's a resolution for the board's consideration.
I would move to adopt a resolution authorizing agreement with the Hamilton County Engineers Office.
Second.
Just by way of discussion, the Kellogg project may, in fact, have some floodwater mitigation if it works out the way we planned. So we're looking forward to that being funded by the state.
We're gaining on it.
Yeah, we're heading in that direction. Right? Thank you, Kenny.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you. And those submittals will go off tomorrow, so we'll proceed accordingly. The second project is also through a grant application through the Ohio Public Works Commission. This would either be through the SCIP program or the LTIP program for improvements to Town Center Way. And again, this would be the Town Center Way portion from just north of Bowen Road, which will be the new Town Center Way. But from that section north to 5 Mile Road, complete reconstruction and rehabilitation of the roadway, street lighting, a lot of other improvements in conjunction with Town Center Way redevelopment and all the activity that's going on in that area. So there is a resolution for the board's consideration. This would be a 50-50 grant match using Anderson Township tax increment financing funds not to exceed $800,000.
With a 50% match, we
Correct.
have a high chance of...
It helps us, but it's only one of the scoring criteria. So it is, and we...
Better than the ones that want 100%, really.
It would be better for 100%, but we have far less points in our application process. So we've positioned the application the best that we can, and again, have a lot of letters of support and other information that will go with that application. So good thing is we'll know in about 6 weeks where we're standing. So.
Good. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I move to adopt a resolution authorizing grant applications for Town Center Way improvements.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you, and again, we'll keep you posted where that falls in the scoring process. The last item I have would be for improvements to Wolf Angle Road. This is for the section from Bowen Road south to Beechmont. You'll recall back in May, the board authorized engineering for a sidewalk in that segment. Mr. Drury brought forth action to work with the same engineer who's working with Kroger and Anderson Town Center with their development plans. As we're moving forward, we elected to try to pull an element of our downtown Anderson project, that is the bus pull-off that we were originally proposing for Beechmont, in an attempt to pull that over to Wolf Angle Road. It seems to make most sense from a safety perspective, from an access perspective, and with them redoing the roadway in that area, now is the time to proceed. So there is a motion for the board's consideration to modify that prior resolution and authorize an additional $15,000 for that major improvement for what is currently what will continue to be a very large transit stop at that location. So,
Do we have a motion?
I move to adopt a motion to authorize the Township Administrator, after consultation with the Law Director, to enter into an agreement with the Hamilton County Engineers Office and/or Board of Hamilton County Commissioners to facilitate improvements to Wolf Angle Road as outlined by staff and through prior action in Resolution 15-0521-01, and to utilize an additional $15,000 in TIF funds for township-related expenditures.
Second.
Any discussion?
if I could just real quick, I forgot to mention that this complements the rest of that application. Kroger is, of course, funding the rest of those improvements and has wanted this action on our behalf to make sure that everybody knows we're paying for our share, which we said we would be up front. So.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
That is all we have for the board this evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
With that, I would remind you that our next regular meeting is October 15th, 2015, here in this room at 6 p.m. If you have any questions, call 688-8400. And once again, our interim meeting scheduled for our portion of it will be 2 p.m. on The 1st, on October 1st. So we'll probably have 2,000 people, so we'll probably have it in here. Maybe 3,000 people, or 6. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Mr. Fabus?
Discussion.
Mr. Earth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes. Thank you all for coming.